All right, so if everything's working properly, today I'm going to make a chocolate torte. I saw the recipe and I was like, ooh, I want to make this. It looks like I have most of the ingredients, and what I don't have, I can substitute other stuff in that I've got, so that's pretty good. It's important to make a chocolate torte today because I ate up the rest of my emergency chocolate frosting that was in the fridge yesterday. So I am suddenly out of chocolate in the house, at least in like an easily eatable form. So today I actually have to put the effort into making something else chocolatey and desserty so that I have something else to snack on. The first thing to do is to separate 6 eggs into egg whites and egg yolks. So the easiest way to do that is into one little pot and then separate them out. I'm just gonna do it and you can see what I'm doing. And now we take a moment to clean everything up because raw egg. Okay, so now that I have separated the eggs, the important thing, of course, is not to get any of the yolk in with the egg white. So by doing it in a little bowl, it's pretty easy to kind of slop them out. And if you catch that you've put a hole in one of the yolks while you're doing it from eggshell to eggshell, you can kind of just dump all of it into your yolk bowl or whatever, and it doesn't ruin any egg whites. And this time I managed not to drip any egg yolk at all into my middle bowl, so I didn't end up using any more than 6 eggs, which is excellent. I do have 6 more eggs, but I don't want to waste eggs at this point. So I've got my egg whites in here. They need to sit for half an hour to kind of warm up to more room temperature. Room temperature eggs in baking is always more preferable to cold eggs. That's what they say. And frankly, I've got other things to do, so that's fine. It can sit there for half an hour. My egg yolks can hang out as well, because we're gonna use those in a little bit. During this half hour, I'm going to, it says, grease and lightly flour a 9-inch springform pan. Well, I used my measuring tape earlier and found that this is a 10-inch springform pan, but I don't have a 9-inch springform pan. My last springform pan, which was, I think, 9 inches, I think it nestled in this one, exploded when I opened it up after using it for something else, I think back in December? I don't remember. I wasn't videoing at that time, so... so this is my last springform pan. If it goes, then it's an emergency, right? And I can leave the house. But I figure it's not going to be that problematic. It'll just be a slightly shorter chocolate torte and a bigger round chocolate torte. But I don't see there being anticipating too much of a problem. We'll find out. So I'm going to grease with butter and then lightly flour it. And then I'll be back. Or here, let me just show you greasing and flouring a springform pan. Probably sped up in post because this is probably going to be very boring. And I'll finish the rest of this off over the sink. Ta-da! Right, so that can now set aside. The next part of this is in a heavy medium saucepan, melt chocolate and butter. All right, it does want some ounces of butter, so we'll just grab the scale. I always forget in which direction everything is, and I always end up spinning the Lazy Susan all the way around. I don't know. All right, it wants half a cup of butter and 5 ounces of semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate chopped. We'll start with the butter, because we know that half a cup of butter is 4 ounces. Let's not use that butter. Let's use the other butter. And, oh, I'm covered in butter again. Ugh. Okay, now I need 5 ounces of semi-sweet or bittersweet chocolate. We're gonna go with the idea that this is semi-sweet. Later, when I completely run out of chocolate, we will be using cocoa powder, butter, and sugar. But for the moment, come on, Ermigerd. Next. .6, so 3.8. Close enough. 4.2. A little bit of extra chocolate isn't gonna kill anybody, and then I get to eat this last piece. So we now need to heat this up. Oh, we need to break up this ginormous slab of chocolate, and then we're going to heat it up until it melts, and then set it aside to cool. Because if we pour our eggs directly into it when it's warm, we'll just end up with scrambled eggs, and that's kind of gross. So I approve of this message. I'll be right back. While I'm waiting for the butter and chocolate to melt behind me, I'm going to go ahead and add the 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla to the egg yolks and give it a little whisk. Might as well. I mean, butter can melt without me, right? My 1/2 teaspoon is currently in the dishwasher, so we're gonna do 1-ish. That was pretty much like 1-ish right there. Vanilla actually makes chocolate taste more like chocolate. I don't know why, but it's true. If you ever make hot chocolate from scratch, there's really no reason why you shouldn't just add a couple drops of vanilla and you will notice a very distinct difference. Also, melting butter with it, it's great. Butter makes everything better. Also, yes, that probably was the largest jar of, or bottle of, delete this section. Let's try that again. That is probably the largest bottle of vanilla extract you'll ever see. It's crazy big. Found it in the cupboard. It's still good. I don't know when we got it, but that's fine. Now, with my little itty bitty tiny whisk, this is, by the way, the cutest whisk ever. It has pretty much no purpose other than to whisk things like this. Also, I hear my butter boiling behind me. Yep. Good, that can sit aside. And I can go back to whisking this. All right. These shenanigans have gone on for a while, but not quite half an hour yet. So I'm going to give the egg whites a little bit longer to sit there and warm up. I'm definitely going to give the chocolate a bit of time to sit there and cool down. And these eggs can just sit here and think about what they've done. Okay, so it's been about a little over half an hour. I was basically waiting for this to cool down as much as possible where it's warm but not hot. We now need to stir the egg yolks and vanilla into the cooled chocolate mixture. I'll go ahead and do that. Fantastic. And we have to wash our hands again. Okay, next is going to be beat egg whites with an electric mixer on medium to high speed until soft peaks form. That's where the tips curl. Gradually add the sugar, about 1 tablespoon at a time, beating about 4 minutes or until stiff peaks form. Right, so I need 1/2 cup of sugar, and then we'll start this process. It's gonna get really noisy, but I have a feeling I'm gonna edit it out and I'll just take the sound out at the same time. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, now we are going to fold about 1 cup of the egg white mixture into the chocolate mixture Then we're gonna fold the mixture back into the remaining egg white mixture. Right. So we're gonna be sifting and folding and sifting and folding and sifting and folding. Got it? Got it? Oh, and we also need to preheat the oven to 350. Do that real quick. That was real quick. So if we're folding and sifting and doing those kind of fun things, it means I want all the egg, thank you very much. I can now do this. All right, so we're gonna do a cup. That's what we got this half cup here for. Oh no, I'm gonna need that for the flour? Nah, I'm not gonna need that for the flour. So we're gonna go that's a good amount there, into the egg mixture, egg chocolate mixture. I just reorganized my kitchen. That was a terrible idea. All right. Do that. Fold, as always. Scoop from the middle, over the top. Scoop from the middle, over the top. Scoop from the middle, over the top. Until you're just gonna go around and through, and around and through. Lovely, lovely. Everybody's happy. And now we're gonna fold this into my egg mixture. I'm gonna stir it too much or I'll lose that. So I now need to sift about 1/3 of the flour over the chocolate egg mixture, gently fold in, repeat sifting and folding the flour until it's done. Okay. I'm gonna need some stuff. Right, what I need is a flour sifter and a 1/4 cup. It says do it in thirds. Well, since it's 3/4 of a cup of flour, I'll do 1, 2, 3/4 cups. Okay, we're gonna call it there. It's not completely blended in, but it's mostly blended in, and I'm worried if I keep folding it, I'll just lose all the fluffiness from the egg whites. So we're gonna pour it into my slightly too large pan. All right, we're gonna call it. Looks nice, mostly even, right? And we're gonna pop it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. I ended up baking it for 35 minutes because I think it was obviously more spread out and not as thick, so that worked really well. And then I put the toothpick in and pulled it out, and it was clear. Of course, promptly burnt myself on part of my hand, but I was desperately trying to keep from hitting the top of the oven, like here, which is where I burned myself the other day. Doing better, we're not burning ourselves in the same spot twice. But we now have to wait for the damn thing to cool. So I'll wait. Oh my word, this is taking forever. Okay, that's fine. It's fine, it's cooled. Mostly. So now we've got to remove it from its cake tin. So we gently do that. To get this off here, so let's do it this way. Thankfully, this is exactly the same height as the pan lip. And you can just go over there for right now, and yay! There we go. Now, the tricky bit is that I have to somehow cut this in half, which is why a 9-inch would have been a little bit better because it would have been a little bit thicker. Never mind. The recipe calls for a really interesting way of if I mark it halfway around with sticks, like so, I give myself guidelines on where I'm cutting. My 8-inch bread knife, of course, is not quite long enough to just slice across my 10-inch cake. But hopefully this will, these little things will help. Holy crap, I think I did it. Okay, so I got rid of the toothpicks. And it's not exactly perfect, but it's not too bad either. I don't have any ginormous holes, and I'm going to be sticking it back together anyway, so that's fine. The next part about this is to, in a small saucepan, heat preserves. Well, in this case, we're going to use orange marmalade. We're going to basically melt it and then strain it, cool slightly, and then spread it in between the 2 layers. Okay, sure. Okay, so I basically heated this until it melted. I need one more hand. Oh well. We're gonna do it this way. There we go. And then, like this. And it's soaking right into the bread. Ah! All right. Woo! And now I need to put this back together again. Like so. And we'll sort of, it says dust it. La 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 la. I'm supposed to get the loose bits off. Okay. And then all I need to do is make the glaze. The glaze is going to be 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate cut up and 2 tablespoons of butter over low heat until just melted, stirring occasionally in one pot. In another pot is half a cup of whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of light colored corn syrup, and a gentle boil. Reduce heat, simmer, remove, mix together, ta-da. Small problem. I have no more semi-sweet chocolate. I have no whipping cream. And I have no corn syrup. However, I have looked up how to make semi-sweet chocolate using cocoa powder and how to make whipping cream out of butter and milk. And I can use honey instead of corn syrup. So we're going to do that. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I've measured this all out and it looks like an absurd amount of chocolate. Oh well. So because I can't let chocolate go by without tasting it, I tasted a little bit of it. Not enough sugar. Needed tablespoons, not teaspoons. So I need to add, let's see, I added 6 teaspoons, so that's roughly 2 tablespoons. And I needed to do a total of 6 tablespoons, so I need 4 more tablespoons of sugar. I'll be back. Having let this simmer now for 2 minutes, it looks pretty good. I'll pour that in with the chocolate and give it a good mix. Okay. Well, I'm going to mix this, and then apparently I'm going to let it cool to room temperature. There's so much waiting in this. Okay, the chocolate now feels pretty cool, so I'm going to try pouring it over this. I flipped it back over. I've got it set on a stand here, and I've got parchment paper underneath, so this is going to make a mess, I think. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's a mess. And delicious. It says let it sit another hour before you eat it. Yeah. So, I've got a serving plate from my torte here. I just need to somehow get it from there to there. Oh, yeah. Ah, messed a little bit up right there. Nearly perfect. We'll just tuck that back. You know, it'll be fine. I'm sure it's going to taste amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. And there it is. Oh, it's amazing. I'm really looking forward to eating it now.